Quincy with Coin Club Crypto. Welcome to my channel. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and talk about it with your friends if you like what we have to talk about. Now, today I'm going to be talking about crypto addresses tell a lot more of the story than people give it credit. And it's kind of a big thing for me to sort of bring up because I'm starting to see a lot of this like rapidly coming into fruition. And it seems like nobody even seems to know that this even exists. And the thing is the Internet of Things and IoT devices. Now, regular people may be, familiar with the idea of IoT or Internet of Things in terms of cameras and drones and stuff like that. But imagine every single internet IoT device essentially being able to be compatible with the blockchain and compatible with other IoT devices through the blockchain. So what I mean by that is, let's say you had a simple example of, or one of my previous videos, I actually had an example where you could essentially programmatically set up rent with a smart contract for a house. So let's say you had a house regulated by a smart contract and you had cameras within that house. Now, let's say one of the cameras that you bought automatically created a smart contract when you spun it up. And in order to get the executions and functionality of this camera that you may have set up, you may have it be compatible with the smart contract you have for your home. And you may do this with your electricity, you may do this with your self-driving car, and obviously this is sort of a futurist idea, but the reason why I'm bringing this up and addresses mean everything is it's a really slow roll right now. And this is super important because people think of addresses as sort of just a user, but IoT devices that operate on the blockchain will all have an address associated with them and will all have a portion of their automation as a smart contract on the blockchain, both for scaling and compatibility reasons. One, they don't have to actually have the code in the hardware anymore, and not that all of them do, because a lot of them just host it in the cloud, but now they don't even have to have it in the cloud, they can just have it on the blockchain. And now other devices on the blockchain can now be compatible with that smart contract. So now you can have a level of interoperability with these back-end systems that are a lot more native than you would have with cloud. Now, the reason why this is important is, I'll use XTC as an example. Now, a couple months ago, XTC barely even had like 25 to 30,000 addresses. Well, now there's over 600,000. And people may go, wow, that's a lot. That's nothing. That's nothing. I'm gonna say this right now, that of the cryptos that do survive, obviously, there will be billions, maybe even trillions of addresses because of the Internet of Things. Imagine if every single sensor, every single camera, every single thing that can be automated in the cloud right now essentially has an address on the blockchain with a smart contract associated with it to essentially do whatever that IoT device does. This can be something as simple as like a sensor for the sensor for a door for an incoming store that has a smart contract that essentially just keeps count of all the people that are coming in. Boom. And maybe you have that smart contract communicating to a broader store contract that has, maybe, camera, IoT devices connected to it, sensors connected to it. And this one store or even one home or whatever could have 10, 20 different addresses on this network with multiple smart contracts associated with it because of the IoT devices. And you may be going I get the IoT devices having a smart contract, but what does that do? Well, imagine software as a service. If you were paying a subscription for, let's say, something like cameras by the camera company, well, why pay a subscription when you could have that camera setup connected to a broader house smart contract that can continuously pay the camera as need be? Hell, maybe even the cameras aren't even on all the time. They're just they're off, ready for a sensor to be triggered, and then once the sensor is triggered, it tells the smart contract to start, and then it starts, and then boom, and now you're able to keep track of all of this information. And that's the thing. There's gonna be so many of these. It's kind of crazy to think about because I've seen some projects in terms of blockchain real estate, and the biggest thing is I can already see a lot of these IoT devices already coming into play with how a lot of these other projects are coming into fruition. And the reason why I say that with real estate is it's not just about tokenizing the asset. It's about automating the asset too, automating rent payments, automating this, but that also goes into security and cameras and electricity and power and all that. It goes into all this too. So not only will different devices be able to be compatible with each other through blockchain and be able to communicate with each other's smart contracts, but I genuinely believe that 80 to 90% of the addresses that will be in existence total existence will be connected to some sort of automated process by IoT device of some sort. And you will have billions, if not trillions, of crypto addresses. And to show you how crazy that is, Bitcoin only has around 88 million crypto addresses. It really isn't a lot. And the crazy thing about it is, well, no one's talking about it. I think people aren't going to be that aware of it until you start seeing, until you start seeing like regular businesses essentially have blockchain service products, and then those products essentially just operate their backend systems on the blockchain. Like it's something as simple as a camera. A new company comes into play. They say, hey, we have this new camera that operates on the blockchain. Da, 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 da. It's cheaper and faster and more efficient than the other cameras. Da, 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 whatever. Or let's say it was a new house that was being built, and now this house is a smart home, and this smart home has multiple sensors and addresses and contracts associated with it, and all these different things. And I think this is huge. I actually think this is way bigger than like volume on exchanges or any of that, because there's actually another thing I'll go into in another one of my videos, but I'll briefly mention it now. But the more you have going on any given network, whether this is IoT devices, smart contracts, even underlying assets on a network, the more any of those things get used, the more in demand the network will be. And it's sort of like a spiral process where as these networks get bigger and they have more and more people using them and they have more and more capabilities for people to use them, it's just gonna continue spiraling and spiraling and spiraling. And I think what's gonna end up happening is sort of how everybody's looking for this parabolic move in price. I think you may end up seeing a parabolic move in addresses, where you may end up seeing some cryptos go from 1 million to 100 million to 1 billion addresses super quick. Because, well, adoption. A company out there is creating IoT devices. They sold 1 million units. Each unit had like 20 addresses associated with it. Boom. Like, you see what I mean? Like, it's literally like that. It's literally like that. And I think this will be way bigger than anybody can even see coming. And I think maybe if you're in the crypto space, you may understand like the gravity of this a little bit, because you may go, oh, look at the growth of the addresses. But I think people in general don't really understand how big the decentralized internet's going to be. And the majority of those, I guess you could say the majority of the addresses on this internet will essentially be automated processes. And I do believe that the majority of the assets on this decentralized internet will also just be innocuous items, sort of like how people will talk about NFTs, but I'll get more into that into another video. But this is just a short little rant on just something I was kind of pondering on in regards of how IoT devices will have a huge impact on crypto adoption due to the fact that now you can have smart contracts associated with them and now be compatible with all other technologies on that network. But yeah, that's just what I had. I hope you guys liked it. See you on the next one.